everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Stephanie from Immersive Spirit, and this is your weekly astrological insights or your astrology forecast for the week of June 8th, 2026. This week is one of those weeks where you can feel the energetic terrain shift almost daily. We start in the watery, intuitive waters of Pisces, move through the fire of Aries and the steadiness of Taurus, and land in a Gemini new moon on Sunday that sets the table for an entirely new chapter. In between all of that, we've got the biggest love and abundance transit of the year, Venus conjunct Jupiter in Cancer, and Mercury sliding into the retrograde shadow, reminding us that the communication slowdown is coming. It's a week of emotional harvesting, relational expansion, and mental recalibration. A lot is moving, so we're going to walk through it all together. First, let's take a look at those big picture transits. On Tuesday, June 9th at 1:59 p.m., we have Venus conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. We're starting here because this one you're going to actually feel in your body. Venus is the planet of love, connection, beauty, and what we value. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, faith, and good fortune. When these two meet in Cancer, that sign of home, family, emotional security, and nourishment, what you get is a moment of profound emotional generosity. And don't we all need that right now? Cancer is already a sign that wants to take care of people. It wants to feed you, hold you, make sure you're okay. With Venus and Jupiter conjoining here, that impulse gets amplified. This is a transit where love feels easy, where connection feels natural, where you find yourself wanting to give and receive in equal measure. On a practical level, this is an awesome time for anything that involves deepening bonds with family, with partner, with the community. It's also a supportive, a financial time, right? So matters tied to the home or real estate, maybe creative projects that involve some beauty and care, any kind of ritual around nourishment, whether that's food, water, rest, or just tending to yourself emotionally. The shadow side of all of this is that conjunction is over idealization. Jupiter expands everything it touches. And when Venus is involved, that can tip, right, to overspending, overcommitting, romanticizing a situation that's not really there, right? It's past, you're moving way past what's actually in existence. So really enjoy this one, but let yourself receive. Just keep one foot on the ground at the same time. Then we have Mercury square Saturn and Pallas in Aries. That's happening Tuesday night, and it's the counterweight to that beautiful Venus and Jupiter energy. Mercury in Cancer is thinking from the heart. It's processing feelings, communicating with care, making decisions based on what feels emotionally right. Awesome. Saturn in Aries, however, is a harder, colder kind of authority. It wants structure, discipline, some clear plans. Add Pallas in Aries, and that's strategy, sharp, direct, and tactical thinking. When Mercury squares both of these on Tuesday night, remember squares kind of our tension, friction point. You might feel that tension between your emotional intuition and the voice that says, but is this practical? I mean, does this actually make sense? Can you back this up? Those are the kind of questions you'd be asking yourself. And it's not a bad thing. That friction is actually very useful because it's asking you to not just let the Venus Jupiter high carry you into these decisions that need more thought, but the timing of these aspects right on the heels of one another. It's beautiful conjunction in the afternoon, the squares at night. That's the whole week speaking to us in full sentences. Enjoy the warmth, then let yourself think clearly before you take action. Then on Wednesday, we have that Pallas conjunct Saturn in Aries, right? We just talked a little bit about that. And Pallas is that asteroid of wisdom, strategy, and pattern recognition. Saturn's our principle of form, discipline, and necessary limitation. It's good. It's just a teacher. When they're both in Aries, which is a sign that prefers to act first and think later, this is a conjunction now. Remember, conjunctions are right next to each other, is asking us something like, can you bring this discipline to your impulses? Can you build a strategy and not just a reaction? This is a transit for mental architecture. So if you've been working on a project that requires both bold initiative and some careful planning, that's a great window for you. The insights that come around Wednesday morning have real structural value, so write them down and build from those. Those are great, great starting places. On Friday, June 12th, we have our North Node squaring Uranus very early in the morning, 1:20 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. This one's going to operate more like background noise than a sharp event, but it is worth calling out and talking about. The North Node in Pisces represents the collective evolutionary direction, right? North Node is really our karmic destiny. So, where we're all being pulled as a culture, as a species. When you have Uranus and Gemini, being acting as that disruptor of communication, information, and technology, it's all becoming an idea about how we think and share ideas. So when these are squaring each other, there's going to be a feeling of the future is pulling us somewhere, and the old ways of thinking and communicating are in the way now. So this can show up as sudden realizations about what's no longer serving you. It can show up as news or events that feel jarring, destabilizing, weirdly clarifying all at once. So, with Uranus and Gemini, expect the unexpected in the realm of information. And aren't we on constant information download these days? Trust your intuition about what to pay attention to and what to let pass on by. Then we have Mercury entering its retrograde shadow. It's just the shadow, Friday evening at 6:53 p.m. Again, Mountain Daylight Time. This is the official starting gun for the pre-retrograde period. Mercury hasn't turned retrograde yet, but it's entering the degree range that it will later reach reverse during its upcoming retrograde, right? Remember, it's kind of going backwards, it looks like in the cycle, so it's going to come back through this pattern. What does that mean for you practically? It means that conversations, contracts, tech issues, communication snags that begin to surface now will likely be your themes throughout the retrograde itself. So if something right now feels unresolved, unfinished, or really unclear in your communications, this is a good time to take note because this is a preview in of what you have coming. In Cancer, that Mercury is already emotionally sensitive to how it processes and communicates. That shadow period here is asking what feelings haven't been fully expressed. What conversations have you been avoiding? What emotional truth are you still circling around? Start being more intentional about communication now. The retrograde period will thank you for it. Then on Saturday, we have Venus entering Leo at 4:46 a.m. Venus has been in Cancer for several weeks now, so it's soft and nourishing, inward, looking in love, right? In Leo, Venus wants to be seen. The shift happens early Saturday morning, and you'll likely feel it by the time you wake up. Something about Saturday feels a little different, more lit up, more performance oriented. Their desire to put yourself is out, is your desire to put yourself out there is strong. To get organized and then recognized and to make love and connection feel exciting and alive rather than just a comfort feeling. Leo and Venus is generous, dramatic in the best way, loyal, and a little bit hungry for appreciation. If you want to feel more radiant, it's your transit. Dress up, make art, tell the people you love why they matter, do it loudly, not quietly. Then we have our new moon in Gemini happening on Sunday, 8:54 p.m. So it's late in our full week as I go through the Monday through Sunday cycle. And it's exactly the kind of beginning to the particular week that we've been building toward, right? Gemini is our sign of the twins, the curiosity, the communication, duality, ideas, learning, connection. A new moon is a seed moment for all of that. So, what new conversation do you want to start? What are you curious about that you've been ignoring? What story about yourself or your life is ready to be rewritten? The new moon falls on the same day that Venus, well, falls on the day after, I guess, that Venus enters Leo and after Mercury has entered its retrograde shadow just 2 days later. So it's a beginning that invites you to not just be intentional, not just leap at every new idea, but to choose which ones actually align with where you're headed overall. So set intentions around communication, learning, local connection, writing, or even short distance travel. Mercury's great for short distance travel. This is fertile ground for planting seeds around how you exchange information and connect with the world around you. All right, already a lot. So take a pause. Hi, I'm Stephanie from Immersive Spirit. I hope you're enjoying this week's Astrological Insights podcast. If you find that these dates resonate for you, or you just love astrology, I would love to book a reading with you and just explore your own chart, whether it's a particular location you're interested in, whether it's looking at transits that are coming for you in the future and how there's certain dates that might align better than others. Or maybe it's just knowing more about that beautiful space that you were born into and exactly how the stars aligned just for you at your time of birth. I would be honored to speak with you. Head to immersivespirit.com and look for our services. You'll find several options there waiting for you, and I'll be excited to talk with you and dig into your astrological chart. Now, back to our podcast. Shake a little, because now we're going to back it up and we're going to go do day by day breakdown. So you've got the highlights. Let's talk about it day by day. Your week opens the third quarter moon in Pisces at 4 in the morning. Remember, all times I talk about are mountain daylight time because, well, we're in Montana and Colorado and they're mountain time. So that's the time zones we're using. But if you're sleeping through this, you might feel, I would guess, like a dream that's kind of lingering on when you wake up. Third quarter moons are all about the release. They're the moment in the lunar cycle where what wasn't working gets let go. And Pisces makes that process feel like a decision and less like a decision, I should say, and more like something is kind of dissolving or dissipating, right? Think that Neptunian fog and it's just kind of shifting away. You don't always have to choose to release something. Sometimes it's just an exhale. The day gets genuinely lovely in the late afternoon because at 5:04 p.m. the moon in Pisces trines Venus in Cancer. Two water signs in easy convo. This is connection and beauty flowing through feeling. Whatever you're doing around 5 p.m., try to be somewhere soft. Have dinner with someone you love. Sit by water if you can. This trine is short-lived, but it's genuinely nourishing. Then at 6:38 p.m., the moon trines Jupiter in Cancer as well. So back-to-back trines from Pisces to Cancer. This is emotional generosity, spiritual ease, a sense that things are held. Monday evening wants you to receive rather than push. The moon goes void of course after 6:38 p.m. for just under 8 hours, so the rest of the evening is genuinely going to be good for doing very little. Our highs Monday, our evening hours like 5 p.m. on, we've got some of the more emotionally restorative of our week, so just lean into those and enjoy the void of course. Lows, we've got that third quarter moon energy, can feel heavy or foggy with that Neptunian side of that. Don't try to launch anything super big on Monday. Overall, our tone for Monday is soft, watery, releasing energy. This is a day for emotional composting, right? Letting things move through rather than make everything mean anything. So don't make it mean something today. Tuesday is more complex energetically. The moon enters Aries at 2:33 in the morning, and the whole tone shifts for us from the dissolving softness of Pisces to something far more awake and activated. By 7:07 a.m., the moon in Aries sextiles Uranus and Gemini. So unexpected sparks, mental brightness, a feeling of being more alive than yesterday. Good morning, right? That's good stuff. 10:04 a.m., the moon conjuncts Neptune in Aries. And this is interesting. Neptune in Aries is still relatively new territory. And the moon here brings emotional sensitivity and spiritual openness into what would normally be pretty fiery, action-oriented combo. You might feel a strange combination of motivated and dreamy, or find that your intuition is running ahead of your logic. Just trust it, right? Go with it. The moon sextiles Pluto retrograde at 11:55 a.m. And there's depth and transformation available in that midday hours, so enjoy that. This is a good time for therapy, for journaling, or any kind of psychological excavation. Then comes the afternoon. Venus is conjuncting Jupiter in Cancer at 1:59 p.m. And if you've already been following along with this, you know this is our crown jewel for this week. Really, it's a big one for the whole year for just emotional yumminess all the way around. It's love and abundance and warmth and generosity, and it's all hitting at once. Do something relational this afternoon. Have that great, meaningful conversation. Reach out to someone you've been meaning to connect with. Spend intentionally on something that feeds your home, feeds your soul or your heart. At 4:48 p.m., Vesta sextiles Juno retrograde in Aquarius, and it's a quiet hum around that sacred devotion and commitment. specifically how our personal dedication, which is that Vesta in Aries, speaks to our contractual or relational vows, which is that Juno retrograding. It's subtle but real, and you might find yourself reflecting on what you're truly devoted to versus what you've simply agreed to. Then Tuesday night shifts a little harder. Mercury in Cancer squares Pallas in Aries. We've talked about this a little bit, and it's very late, right? 11:27 p.m. and Saturn in Aries at 11:38 p.m. So they're very close. 11 minutes. Go figure. 11. The emotional high of the day meets the reality principle here. This isn't a reason to spiral. Most of us, I hope, will be asleep. It's a reason, at least in the northern hemisphere. Hi, southern hemisphere people, to let your feelings here though. How do I want to back into this? There we go. Let yourself be real while asking yourself whether you're seeing the whole picture. Hope that made sense. Let's just jump into the highs and lows. Highs, the Venus Jupiter conjunction on Tuesday. That early afternoon is the emotional peak of the entire week, maybe the month. Our lows, late Tuesday night, that Mercury square can bring mental tension, self-doubt, or that edgy feeling right before you sleep when your mind starts picking things apart. The tone overall, it's a full spectrum day, really. It's a high warmth, unexpected brightness, emotional depth, and then a reality check. Hydrate, go to bed early. Tuesday is just a good day for both. Wednesday begins in the middle of the night with our Pallas conjuncting Saturn in Aries at 12:42 a.m. and the Moon conjuncting Saturn in Aries at 1:29 a.m. So the very early hours of Wednesday carry a quality of mental seriousness, of structures crystallizing. If you wake up at 2 a.m. with your mind going and just spinning around, that's why. The moon squares Mercury in Cancer at 1:40 a.m. It's another moment of tension that between feeling and thinking, heart and head. By the time you're actually awake and moving through your morning, some of the overnight intensity will hopefully have settled for you. Midday brings some real ease. We have Ceres and Gemini trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, 12:35 p.m. This is a subtle but powerful aspect around nourishment and transformation. Ceres is about what feeds us, what we tend, what grows under our care, right? It's a sweet spot. In Gemini, that's information, it's connection, it's ideas. Trining Pluto, there's a sense of deep nourishment through intellectual engagement and the conversation that changes something, right? Pluto's our transformation planet. What's changing? And that information then is going to give you that, it's going to shift your perspective. That moon in Aries sextiles the sun in Gemini at 1:28 p.m. And it's a nice midweek moment of integration between your emotional body and your conscious awareness. Things feel a little clearer in the early afternoon. Then the day ends with tension. The moon squares Jupiter in Cancer at 11:51 p.m. This can feel like emotional excess, wanting more than is available, or the desire for comfort bumping up against your need for action. Late Wednesday night, it's not a great time for big emotional conversations. Sleep is better here. Our highs for Wednesday, that midday, we have the Ceres Pluto trine and the moon sun sextile give the afternoon a quality of quiet clarity. Then our lows, both ends of this day, overnight tension at the start and emotional excess to the close. So morning, night. Tone overall, though, it's the middle of the week. Just do the work today, right? Midday is your most productive window. Thursday starts with the moon squaring Venus in Cancer at 2:22 a.m. Emotionally, we're still in the friction zone from overnight, that push-pull between what we want and what's really available. The moon goes void for about 4 hours right after this. And then at 5:54 a.m., the moon conjuncts Chiron in Aries. This is one of the more tender transits of our week. Chiron in Aries is the wound around identity, courage, that right to simply exist as yourself. When the moon touches it, feelings around self-worth, old hurts, those can begin to surface. So they're brief, but they're pretty authentic when they do. It's not a bad thing. It's an invitation to meet that wound with gentleness rather than avoidance. The moon enters Taurus at 6:28 a.m. The whole texture of our day is going to shift. Taurus moon energy is grounded, sensory, and slow. This is the best day of the week for your body. Eating intentionally, moving deliberately, rest without guilt. By 11:05 a.m., that moon sextiles the North Node retrograde in Pisces, and it's a quiet nod toward your evolutionary path, a sense of rightness about where you're going. At 3:07 p.m., the moon squares Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Power dynamics can feel a little charged in the mid-afternoon. This is brief, but if something feels controlling or manipulative, notice it. You don't have to react, just observe. The balsamic moon in Taurus perfects at 4:25 p.m. We're in the final phase of the lunar cycle now, heading towards Sunday's new moon. So it's genuinely a time for rest, for integration, and letting the old cycle compost before that new one begins. The final releases, right? Our highs Thursday afternoon with the Taurus moon. This is the most body-friendly grounding energy of our week. The lows, we have that pre-dawn tension with the moon Venus square. Sleep through it if you can. And then the tone overall is a turning point. The week moves from complexity toward that groundedness. So just honor that transition and listen to your body. Friday opens with the North Node squaring Uranus at 1:20 in the morning. It's a larger generational hum of disruption and evolutionary pressure that may not manifest as a specific event, but colors the day with a sense that the ground is shifting somewhere beneath the surface. By 8:26 a.m., the moon in Taurus sextiles Mercury in Cancer. Morning communication is going to flow more easily. This is a good time for those gentle check-ins, thoughtful emails, or having the conversations that you've been putting off. The grounded Taurus energy helps Mercury in Cancer express itself without too much overwhelm. The moon conjuncts Mars in Taurus at 12:37 p.m., and this is a great productive window for the day. Mars in Taurus moves slowly, but with tremendous focus on physical power. The moon activating at midday means your body wants to do something. This is a great time for physical work, creative output that requires more sustained effort, right? Anything that involves moving something from potential to actualization. So things that you're going to actually actualize. At 6:53 p.m., Mercury enters the retrograde shadow in Cancer. Just make note of this. Back up your devices if you haven't. Be more careful than usual in your communications. Start wrapping up or reviewing anything that's kind of in an in-between state. Contracts, conversations, plans that need clarity. The retrograde itself, it's still a few weeks off, right? It's towards the end of June, but this shadow period is a good prep time for us and a great reminder of things that we may see again. So it's great to get them in line now. Then Venus scores Chiron in Aries late in the evening, 11:23 p.m. for us. And that's going to carry a bit of a sting um, of tenderness, right? It's the relational sphere. So something about love and self-worth touching each other at the edges. It's brief, but it's real. So if you feel a little raw at the end of this day, that's why. Our highs midday Friday, that moon conjunct Mars and Taurus for practical, productive, body forward energy. Our lows, late night Venus Chiron square can leave you feeling a little bit tender about love or self-worth. The tone overall, though, is purposeful. So use the morning for those communications to do the cleanup, right? Just get yourself in a good place. In the afternoon for work. In the evening for something soft. Saturday starts with the moon in Taurus sextiling Jupiter in Cancer at 1:30 a.m. It's a gentle ease in our overnight hours, a sense of emotional warmth even while we slumber. Sleep time, I love it. The moon goes void for just under 5.5-ish hours after this. And then Venus enters Leo at 4:46 a.m. So this is that energy that's going to greet you when you wake up Saturday morning that we talked about towards the top of the podcast. So if Monday was soft and Tuesday was full spectrum and Thursday was our grounding day, Saturday is like your radiant sunshine. Something about Venus and Leo is unapologetic in its desire to be seen and appreciated, and that energy is contagious in the best way. The moon enters Gemini at 7:05 a.m., and the morning comes alive with curiosity and movement. Just 2 minutes later, 7:17, the moon sextiles Venus in Leo. So it's a sparkling early morning aspect that makes Saturday genuinely fun, right? It's going to feel so much fun. At 11:03 a.m., the moon squares the North Node retrograde. It's a quick moment of friction with your evolutionary path, maybe feeling torn between what's comfortable and where you're meant to go. At 11:30 a.m., the moon conjuncts Uranus in Gemini, so expect the unexpected. It's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster for us on Saturday morning, right? Lots of different energies that we're going to feel. So your plans may shift with this one, and it's a conversation might take a little bit of a surprising turn. Something new enters the field, mentally or informationally. Just stay flexible. The afternoon settles into ease. The moon sextiles Neptune in Aries at 1:50 p.m. Imagination and spiritual receptivity, they peak in that early afternoon. Then at 3:18 p.m., the moon trines Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. It's a deep knowing, a sense that transformation is underway, even when you can't see all of it. Speaking of seeing all of it, I know you've seen my Kitori, Turi for short, puppy walking around back here. It's dog days every day here. Saturday, genuinely really going to be a great day for social activity, creative expression, anything that involves the joy of just being seen, right? That Venus Leo love. Highs the entire day from morning onward, just Venus and Leo, Gemini moon, sparkling, showing up for this one. I mean, I'm going to get up early Saturday just so I can be a part of that fun. The lows that moon north node square mid-morning might bring a brief moment of tension between pleasure and purpose. Might be some time for a little journaling there. Tone overall is bright. It's social, creatively alive. So dress up, show up. It's a good day for play. Sunday unfolds quietly until evening. The moon sextiles Saturn and Aries at 4 o'clock in the morning. And that structure and discipline receive a gentle emotional acknowledgement in the overnight hours for us. Then we move through the day with the moon in Gemini continuing to gather information and make those connections. It's the balsamic energy of the cycle deepening as we approach the close of that cycle. The new moon in Gemini at 8:54 p.m. and the week closes with a beginning. So there's something so fitting about that for this week. After the emotional richness of Venus conjuncting Jupiter, the structural pressure of Mercury squaring Saturn, the grounding interlude of the Taurus moon, Venus stepping into Leo, this new moon is asking, now that you have felt all of that, what do you want to say? What do you got to say? What conversation do you want to start? What do you want to learn? Gemini new moons are great for intentions around writing, around learning, short distance travel, communication of every kind, beginning a course or a creative project, or simply making a commitment to be more curious and less certain. The moon goes void after the new moon for about 9 hours. So somewhere after 8:54 p.m., the energy is not going to be about launching. It's about planting. Let's set your intentions quietly, right? That's what the time is for. Journal, sit with it. The activation will come later. Our highs for Sunday, that new moon at 8:54 p.m. This is the week's closing gift and opening the door to our next week simultaneously. The lows, the day itself is fairly quiet and just internally focused. Don't force major action on a balsamic Sunday. Tone overall is still, it's anticipatory, seeded with possibility in our week ahead. Let Sunday be the breath before our next exhale. It's a lot. I know, even with it being a softer and loving week, it is a lot. So as we zoom out, this week is asking all of us, underneath all of the specifics, it's something about holding both softness and the clarity at once. That Venus conjunct Jupiter in Cancer, it says, let yourself be loved. Let yourself feel how much nourishment is available to you. The Mercury square Saturn says, and also think clearly. You know, don't let just everything go sunshine and tripping over the rainbows. Build something real from that warmth. The new moon in Gemini at the end of the week is a huge reset. It's a blank page in the realm of ideas, communication, and curiosity. So before you get there, this week, I want you to release what Pisces asked you to dissolve on Monday, to receive what Cancer wants to give on Tuesday, to ground in that wisdom of Taurus on Thursday and Friday, and to arrive at Sunday's new moon having actually felt this week, not just tracked it. That's the work, is to feel it, to think it, to build it. All right. So this week, my question for this community, Venus and Jupiter are conjunct in Cancer. It's that sign of home, nourishment, and emotional safety. I think we've said that 100 times. So I want to ask you, what does emotional nourishment look like in your life right now? Where are you receiving it? Where are you still hungry for it? And then drop a comment, send a message, and share it in the community. We would all love to hear and to share in nourishing each other, right? Isn't that what this is all about? And don't forget to join us for Hope Circle. Hope Circle is this Thursday. We do those every once a month on the Thursday before the new moon. And it's a great opportunity to be a part of we hope to make it a global meditation. And it's short, it's grounding, and we're starting to embrace that energy of the new moon right around the corner. So we would love for you to join us. It's on our YouTube channel live, 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time this Thursday on the 11th at Immersive Spirit. So love to have you there for that. And then, of course, don't forget to join us at immersivspirit.com. You come be a part of our community. It's free for the first 30 days. We would love to have you check it out. We have live workshops. I'll be doing one actually later today, all around psychometry, right? And the energy of psychometry. So we would love to have you join our live workshops. We have a group Reiki session next Saturday. So if you're interested in maybe joining a virtual group Reiki session, now's a great chance to get involved because it's free your first 30 days. After that, it's only $11 a month, and there's so much benefit and so many things happening. Anyway, you can find all the details. Go to immersivespirit.com, and we will see you again, next week. I think we've got everything here. Really relish that Venus and that Jupiter and Cancer energy. It's going to be such a kick in the pants on Tuesday. Until next week, I'm Stephanie with your astrological insights from Immersive Spirit. Until next week, stay grounded and keep looking up.